Alright guys, today we're going to run through how to build a sling load mission in DCS using the mission editor, and then we're going to jump into the Huey and actually go out and perform some sling loading. So let's get into it. So first thing you got to do is you got to step into DCS, go to mission editor. We're going to, in this case, we're going to select Afghanistan since it's the new map. Okay, so here is the brand new Afghanistan map. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate over to Kandahar Air Station. So forgive me for zooming in on you. I don't want to pop your eyes out. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to drop down a helicopter. I'm going to select the Huey. Let's do that first. Over here on your left side, you have your airplanes. You have your items you can drop in. So we're going to select the helicopter. And I'm going to put it right here on Z10. Over here to the right, you have the type of helicopter. We want this to be the Huey because that's what I'm going to fly. So we're going to select Huey. And the skill, we want this to be client or player. That way you can select it and actually fly it. If you leave it as any of the others, then AI takes over and AI will fly it for you. And that's not what we want. So we're going to name this one Huey. Because if you build around on this map, you're going to add other aircraft, and there'll be a spot where you have to select the aircraft. And if you just mark it Huey, maybe a different color or something, then it's a little bit easier to navigate too. All right, so now that we have that there, oops, let's delete that. Now that we have that there, let's go ahead and change the skin on it. That livery, I like doing the Desert Shield one, Desert Storm rather. So here's Desert Storm. I like that one. And let's put some guns on it. Let's select the miniguns on one side, and we'll put the 50 cal on the other. Something like that. All right, and then internal fuel. I don't like flying with a full fuel tank. Let's go about 50%. And so that is the helicopter that I'm going to use. You can select whichever one you want. Let's close this off. And let's select that again. And we need to tell it here what type. We need to tell it whether it's going to be in the air, whether it's going to take off from the ground, or from a parking spot. So in this case, because it's a helicopter, it can take off from the ground. So we're going to say from the ground hot, or you can do take off from parking hot, which will assign it a parking space. So in our case, that's where I want it to take off from. I'm just going to say take off from ground hot. And by it saying hot, that means that it's going to be already started. So we have the helicopter where we want it. Now we need to put down some cargo. You do that by coming over to the static icon here on the left, selecting that, and then I'm just going to start dropping it right there. Now once you drop it, you have choices over here on the category as to what it's going to be. So here at the top it says static object. Well, I want this to be cargo. So I'm going to select cargo. And then the type, and you can see here in the picture what that is. For the UH-1 Huey, I don't know how much weight it can handle, how much it can lift, but I always go with, just for practice purposes, I'm going to go with the UH-1H cargo because it's already the right size, or the right, and the Huey's capable of lifting it. Here it shows that it's 2,205 pounds. I'm going to make this super light at 220 pounds. Just so we can get some good practice in and not have to worry about all that extra stuff. As you get better, you can always increase the poundage to it, but it starts off at 2,200. So for the Huey, I would not go any higher than that. All right, so now we have one down. Let's click on it. And here, one thing we got to make sure that it says can be cargo. That has to be enabled, so make sure that's checked. All right, so I'm going to put down about 5 of these. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to Control C to copy it. And then I'm going to put the cursor where I want, and then I'm going to Control V, and it's just going to continue to put them down. That side, that exact same size, same weight, same everything. So I'm just going to keep dropping them down like that. And somewhere in there. All right, so there's our cargo. Every one of these is going to be assigned a number, and once I jump into the helicopter, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about with the communication menu. So at this point, we are ready to go. We got the helicopter in place. We got the cargo in place. So let's go jump into, well, actually, before we jump in, there's a couple of things you can do. You can save it right off the bat by hitting this left button, or up on the left side, you have a menu. This one is going to save it. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is because we're creating this mission, we can actually assign what kind of weather we want. So if you click this weather icon here, we'll click it, and by default it shows up with this one here. I don't want any kind of weather when I'm flying in VR because sometimes that does affect the performance. So I'm just going to make it no clouds in the sky. So I'm going to select nothing and then hit OK, and then I'm also going to give it some wind. So here at the bottom, at 33 feet, I want the wind to be about 8 knots, 8 to 10 knots, somewhere in there. And we can actually assign what direction we want that wind to go. So we're going to assign it like that. So once we get out there, we'll have wind and we'll have no clouds in the sky. Okay, so now we're ready to save it. I'm going to come up here to the icon on the left. It says Save Mission File. We're going to save that. And we're going to save it here as Huey cargo, and I already have one in there, so I'm going to name this one Huey cargo my. You can name it whatever you want. Then we're going to say OK, and now that it's saved, here we go, it's saving. We can actually take off and fly it. So we're going to hit the fly mission. We're going to go here. Okay, once it gets to this point, it's going to show you, this is the UH-1 that we just created. Again, if you wanted to drop other airplanes down, it could be airplanes, it could be helicopters. Once you drop them down and you assign them the client category, then they'll show up here and then you can select the ones you want. So that's the one that I want. I'm going to hit OK, and then that's going to take us and put us into the actual aircraft.
All right, guys, so today we are in the Huey. We are doing a sling load training mission. I'm going to go over just some of the things that I like to do and that I've noticed and how I would do it. I'm sure there's a technical way of doing all this, but this is how I do it. So let's jump into this, and first let's talk about, as you can see, I use VR, so I don't have a HOTAS to map any of the buttons to. So what I've done is I've got 2 USB mini controllers. I've got one attached right here to my cyclic, and then I've got one attached underneath my collective. So let's check and see what those are connected to, what I have them bound to. So this first one, second one there, it's external cargo auto hook. In case it doesn't automatically log in, that's what that one's for. Third one down is external cargo hook. This is to turn it off or turn it on. And then the bottom one is to unhook it. So I have it to hook, and then I have it to unhook, and then I have the auto hook in case it doesn't do it. And that first one does nothing. All right, and on this one, on my cyclic, I have open doors, which is just something I like to do. Cockpit door, open, close. The second one is the cockpit view, which will bring me back into this cockpit view. And then the one on the bottom is for my external view, because when you're doing cargo loading in a Huey, you don't have a cargo window, so it's hard to see what's going on underneath. So what I do is I assign a camera by number F4 to it, and that will give me to this view. Let me shut these doors. Let me just do it this way. So there's my view here. And then I'm going to set it up. I like to do this. And then I like to pull back, and I like to go up and over. Something like this. That way I can just look at a glance, and I can see what she's doing. Alright, so now we're back in the cockpit. Let's get these doors closed. Doors are coming closed. Alright, so I've got that. Let's see what I look like. I've got my doors open. Got my co-pilot. Now I fly in the co-pilot seat on the left just because I'm left-handed, and that feels natural to me. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so I've got cargoes already assigned here. They're just on the other side of those hangars. And we're going to do this. I got the butt kicker installed. I got actually 4-point butt kicker. Let's do a quick hover test. So I've got a butt kicker transducer installed under my pedals, one under my seat, one attached to the base of my cyclic, and one attached to the base of my collective. And then I've got the 5-point harness, so it actually, I can feel all that vibration going through my chest because it's going through the harness. Alright, so there's my cargo. Now to call up your cargo, for me I've got it mapped. You have to go to your communications map. Here number F6 says all cargo. I have that assigned to a button over here. And I'm going to say, okay, now you can see all these are UH1 cargo, and they are 220 pounds. So I'm going to select the first one, and then it's going to show me smoke of where it's at. And there's the smoke, and you can see we've got some wind. So I'm going to either approach this one with my nose at the wind, or into the wind, or my tail into the wind. So it looks like I'm going to come in, let's put my tail on the wind. You know what, let's try it this side. Now I'm a little higher than I like to approach this thing, so I'm just going to descend down from right here. I could do a go around, which I probably should, but I'm just going to do it from right here. I typically don't like descending straight down. Let's get this bad boy. Now the thing is, there's a couple ways you can pick up your cargo. You can hover over it, which is what I'm going to do on this one. And then on the next one, I'll actually land in front of it and tell the hook to go out and connect. So the load master is going to come on, and he's going to tell me what I need to do. But I can look out the window and see where I need to be. All right, so I'm in position. It should auto hook. It's auto hook. Thank you. Now on this particular, all right, the line is tied. All right, so at this one, I've got about a 32-foot cable. Now they do make them longer. You can assign that in the mission editor, but I like to just keep it short. If it goes too long, then it tends to swing a lot. So on these little short jumps and everything's flat to the ground, I really don't need it any longer than 32 foot. So let's take a look outside, see what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And I'm looking good. It's hanging pretty steady. Thank you, sir. There's the load master telling me what it's doing. Now I'm going to drop it right in this open field right here in front of me. Now I'm going to start descending down. Again, I don't typically like just hovering straight down or descending straight down from a hover. So I'm going to kind of just ease into this one. And again, I'm looking out. I'm not really watching any gauges whatsoever. I'm just looking out the window. I've got a pretty good feel for what my aircraft is doing. And again, because I've got butt kickers and all assigned, I can feel what it's doing. It's almost like being in the aircraft. So it's a nice big open field. I'm going to drop it right about here. And I'm going to always feel like I've got control of my lift. Always. Because it's easy to get into VRS mode, and man, once you get there at this height, you're done. So I'm feeling like I feel confident that I got it on the ground. I'm gonna unhook. All right, and then we're gonna depart, go back and get another one. Let's see if I can get over this warehouse without hitting it. All right, so that's one down. Now we're going to call up another one. So again, we go to the communications menu. We hit the F6. And I'm going to select number 2 this time. And there's my smoke. All right, now on this one, we are going to land next to it. And we're going to send the hook out. I am not going to hover over it. Now, and this is the latest update in, this is July 2024. It's the latest update from DCS. The smoke does not clear once you hover over it. In prior versions of this, prior updates, it would show you the smoke to indicate where your cargo was. You would hover over it or get close to it, and then the smoke would disappear, would turn off. But in this particular version, there's got to be a bug in it, because I don't know who or why anyone would want the smoke to stay on. Because if there's no wind, you are trying to hover within that smoke, and that ain't fun. Alright, so we're, there's my load master. I'm close enough right here. I'm gonna drop it to the ground. I'm gonna tell it. Alright, let's abort this. Alright, and we wanna hook up. Come on, we wanna hook up. There goes my hook. There. She's hot. Take her up. Alright, so there we are. I'm gonna try to come lift straight up. Now there goes the smoke. So I'm going to try to lift up over it as much as possible because I don't want to drag it across the apron here. Alright, that should be pretty good. Pretty good. And over the top of it. Line is tied. Thank you, sir. Alright, let's go drop this bad boy off. Alright. So again, there's two ways you can hook. One of them is to hover over it. And the other one is to land and then tell the, I guess you're by pushing the buttons, you're telling the load master, hey, hook that up. So we're going to come back over and drop it off. Now the idea is you don't want to go too fast because you don't want to bust the rope. It'll tell you if you're going too fast, he'll start telling you the rope is about to break. So you got to be careful with that. And again, I'm just visually looking out. I can tell what I'm doing, and then I can just take an external view and see my load. It's not doing anything but hanging straight down. And again, it helps that if you come at it with a shorter cable, you do not need a 50-foot cable. Not on this particular runs anyway. If there's trees and things and you got to drop between the trees, then I could see it, but there's really no reason here. Alright, so we're gonna hover over it. This one I'm gonna go ahead and hover, and I'm just gonna try to descend straight down. Let me just get close to that one. Now, to do sling loading, man, you really have to know your aircraft. You really got to feel it. It's so much just feel. So, alright, so I'm coming straight down. Again, always feeling confident that I got it, I know right where my lift is in my collective. Feeling confident. Giving it some left rudder so I stay pointed this way. And I'm going to release. Alright, we almost lost it there at the end. Alright, come on, baby. That wind is pretty, I tell you, I can definitely feel that wind. Let's see what we're looking like. Oh, yeah. Alright, let's go grab one more. And I'm just going to run through this one. Let's say 3. Now sometimes if I was to go back and hit F1 or F2, those that I've already picked up, it'll send the smoke at the one that we just dropped off. So if you're confused as to why in the hell is it not showing smoke at the pickup location, it's because it's still registering your old one. Now there is a process to cancel it, cancel that load and then select a new one. That bug has been fixed. Before prior updates, you were not able to cancel them, but this one you can. All right, so this one I want to approach with the wind at my tail. You know what? Let's do this one different. Let's approach this one with the wind coming at our nose. Now again, I'm in the Huey. I'm flying VR. I have no HOTAS. I use my controllers as my joysticks, or as my hands rather, and then I grab the cyclic and the collective. Now again, we're coming at this nose to wind, and then there's that smoke. You can see normally in the previous versions, it would the smoke would go away by this point. But shit. No, it's not. All right, let me back up. There it is. All right, yep, I know. I got you, bro. Whew, we got about 8 knots or so of wind. It seems like. There we go. Now I do a lot of. There we go. It's hot. Now when you're hovering, obviously you've got to have some good hover skills. You want to just kind of keep looking out, find an object out in front of you, and just use that as your guide, and just work around it. If you look down, you can do it that way too, but boy, it's really tough. You end up. Take attention, brother. Line is tied. So it's a combination of looking out the window, looking at what's in front of you, maybe peeking down at the ground underneath you. But hovering is a whole It's a skill you've got to learn. It's going to be difficult at first, but one day you're just going to wake up and say, oh, hell, now I know how to hover. It literally works that way. And it's just about getting in the aircraft, flying it around, learning how much torque you need to give, anti-torque pedals you need to give, your rudder pedals. It's just about knowing your aircraft. Now, I fly the Huey a lot. I like flying it in the utility mode, like what we're doing today. And I'm going to approach this one. Now, there's no windsock over here, so I think the wind is would be coming from the pilot side. So, and again, it's not really affected me. I don't feel it affecting the aircraft now, the wind that is. So I'm just going to approach it this way, and I believe that it's going to probably be at my tail. I'm just going to turn myself in. Now, as you get better, you can practice setting these cargo downs on targets and maybe on the back of that pickup truck or on ships and things. It's a lot of fun, man. It's challenging. All right, so again, we are just going to descend down from this spot. I'm going to just kind of descend almost straight down from a hover, which again, I don't like. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling confident that I got good. I know where my collective is. All right, let's get out of here. Let's take a look at it. Turn, baby. Turn, baby. There we go. And there they are. All right, guys. So I hope that was insightful to you. Maybe you picked up one or two little tidbits of info. Again, sling loading. It's tough to do, but it's really challenging, man. It's a lot of fun. First thing is you've got to master. You have to know your aircraft. You got to feel it, and of course you've got to have your hovering down pretty good. But it'll come to you. It's just a matter of practice. Before you know it, you'll be doing it without even thinking about it. That's where I'm at now in my flight hours. I just jump in. I don't even think about what I need to be doing. I just kind of look at where I want to go, and my body just naturally puts me there. All right, so we're going to land next to these Black Hawks. We're going to land right at that center of this little diamond shape. So again, guys, if you like the video, like, share, subscribe, comment. I love to be engaged with you guys. So if you have a comment, maybe you do sling loading a different way. Maybe you have certain challenges, things you want to talk about, man, I'm all up for it. I love to help you guys out. I'm enjoying the hell out of DCS, and as you can see, I do it in VR, man. So my experience is totally immersive. I mean, look, it's crazy awesome. It is crazy awesome. So if you'd like to help the channel, there's a link in the comments or in the details on where you can buy a cup of coffee, buy me a beer. Also, I am at that point of monetization, so if you'd like to join, I think it's $3, $2.99 a month. That money definitely goes to help me support the channel. I appreciate it. And again, guys, like, share, comment, and let's talk, man. I'm having a good time with that. If there's a particular video you want me to put together for you guys, let me know. I like flying the Huey. I like the MI8. I love the F-18. I'm more of a helicopter guy, so that's pretty much where I fly every day. All right, guys, so have an awesome day. See ya.